Very good. Well, good morning still, and thank you all for being here. This is our Mardi Gras press conference as we prepare for carnival season in the city of New Orleans. Of course, for our residents as well as our visitors alike. Our entire public safety team, in addition to our state and federal partners, are ready and prepared. You're going to hear from many of our partners, both, of course, our Homeland Security, NOPD, EMS. Of course, you'll hear from fire, but all of our partners as unified, both at the state and local level. I'm very excited for Mardi Gras to return to the city of New Orleans. It does give us some sense of a normal, or bringing back some normalcy, but at the same time, it's very important for everyone to recognize and realize that we are not under normal times. And so while we are standing up and being very much prepared for the return of Mardi Gras 2022, it will be, of course, aligned with the existing conditions that we continue to be faced with relative to a pandemic that we are still very much in. You're going to get briefs, again, from my public safety team and, of course, our unified command that is here. And I would like really to begin that process right now. I'm going to start with our Director of Homeland Security, Colin Arnold, and we will go from one to the next. And of course, additional information, we'll get to Q&A, and then we will leave you and continue to prepare for Mardi Gras coming to our city. So with that, Colin, come on up, and then we'll take it from there.
Thank you, ma'am. Morning, everybody. We are very excited to be back having our first Mardi Gras in almost 2 years. The Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness is working closely with our local, state, and federal partners to coordinate public safety during the 2022 Mardi Gras season. A lot of planning has gone into this event under extremely challenging circumstances and with the backdrop of the COVID pandemic still with us. Again, this year Mardi Gras was upgraded to a special event rating 2, a SEER 2 rating, which is, something very important because of the size and significance of this event, and that's recognized by our federal partners. There are very few events in the country that are given this. Out of hundreds of thousands of special events, only a handful, maybe 10, are given this type of rating. You saw one yesterday with the Super Bowl. A lot of those assets and the same type of planning that went into the Super Bowl have gone into Mardi Gras, and a lot of the same assets that you saw, particularly air assets last night during the Super Bowl, you'd see here for Mardi Gras beginning next week. The SEER 2 rating opened us up to additional federal support, and that federal coordinating team, members of whom are here today at the podium, are assisting us with additional resources such as intelligence sharing, law enforcement assets, emergency medical assets, and physical security equipment. We're receiving federal law enforcement assistance in the French Quarter, behind the parade route and on the riverfront and along the river and on the river. We'll be getting federal aviation assets in the air over the parade route and over the French Quarter. And there'll be information and sharing intelligence assisting us in the Emergency Operations Center and in the Real-Time Crime Center. And that will include members of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the United States Coast Guard, the Louisiana State Police and the State Fusion Center, and the Louisiana State Fire Marshal's Office. The city's Emergency Operations Center will be activated as a multi-agency coordination center throughout Mardi Gras, throughout the parade season, both in the EOC upstairs here on the 9th floor and on mobile command facilities or vehicles out on the parade route. NOLA Ready, our hallmark emergency preparedness brand, is providing public information leading up to and during the Mardi Gras season, tips and resources about transportation, safety, what to bring, and permitting are outlined at ready.nola.gov/Mardi Gras. And again, our parade tracker which you can get on any smart device, is called RouteWise. It displays parade routes and tracks the head and tail of each parade in real time. It also has the locations of public restrooms, first aid stations, lost child stations, and even street vending locations, and a Find Me function on it as well. It's all available if you navigate your smart device to routewise.nola.gov. That's routewise.nola.gov. Real-time updates to weather and safety, traffic, and parade delays will be provided on NOLA Ready via social media and text message. You can follow NOLA Ready on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also text Mardi Gras. That's Mardi Gras, one word, to 77295 to subscribe to live text updates. If you've subscribed before with our previous provider, you were transferred over last year when we switched. We already have 53,000 people that have subscribed to Mardi Gras alerts, and we encourage everyone, whether you're a resident or a visitor, please, if you want those updates, Mardi Gras to 77295 is very easy. We'd also like to share a few tips to ensure that you have a safe and celebratory Mardi Gras season. First, keep track of your group. Plan a meeting spot in case you get separated. And something we always encourage is the safety selfie. Take a picture of your group at the beginning of the day, particularly children. That way, if someone can't find you, you've got a photo that day to show any public safety along the route in order to find your person that might be lost. Again, if it's a lost child, tell the nearest public safety official and be aware that we do have lost child stations along the parade route. Second, beware of your surroundings. Keep track of your personal belongings, and if you see something, say something. Find a public safety official. Doesn't have to be a police officer. Anybody with a radio can get that information out to everybody. We'll have eyes in the sky. We've got eyes on the route. Lastly, please enjoy parades safely. Stay behind barricades. Follow the instructions of public safety officials. Do not cross between floats. Please do not cross between floats. Enjoy the parade from the sidelines. Don't walk with or, anyways. Stay clear of sanitation crews and heavy equipment after the parades. I think that other bullet point was about following COVID guidelines. Please follow all the safe COVID guidelines that Dr. Avegno will talk about. Also, my friend Ramsey Green couldn't be here today, but as the Deputy Chief of Infrastructure, he asked me to give his updates from the infrastructure team, particularly from Public Works, the Department of Sanitation, and Parks and Parkways. The Department of Public Works is working with partner agencies like Entergy and the Sewage and Water Board to ensure that their sites are completed and secure ahead of the parades. The pothole operations are continuing along parade routes and 2 blocks on each side of those parade routes. Gutter buddies, our favorites, are being installed and placed in the uptown and mid-city parade routes to prevent debris like beads from entering the drainage system. Catch basin cleaning is continuing along the parade routes uptown. And DPW will be sweeping the parade routes and assisting public safety agencies during emergencies. 2 hours before and 2 hours after each parade, unauthorized vehicles on any part of the published parade route could be ticketed and towed. The Department of Sanitation is partnering with Job 1 to provide employment opportunities to more than 200 workers to assist with post-parade cleanup. On Fat Tuesday, March 1st, there will be no trash or recycling collection outside of the French Quarter and DDD, and there'll be no recycling collection in the French Quarter and DDD. Parks and Parkways forestry crews have completed trimming 592, almost 600 trees. Personnel will conduct a pre-parade enforcement on weekday mornings in support of that pendency ordinance 34-33, which is preventing setup more than 4 hours prior to a parade. Please be advised. We've all seen this before, although it has been almost 2 years. We will be out there. Parks and Parkways with trucks will be out there. Anything left on the parade route prior to 4 hours before parade will be collected and taken. They will remove ladders, tents, tarps, and other personal items left in the medians and on the right-of-way. And there's parkway personnel, almost 50, that will be assisting sanitation with post-parade cleanup. I will just say we had a briefing from the National Weather Service. Do not anticipate rain or severe weather over the weekend. Certainly mean it can't happen, but there will be some rain and potential severe weather on Thursday evening. So just be advised when you're getting ready for your plans on Friday that there could be some rain this week. Temperatures should be rather mild. It does appear to be, at this point, a good weekend weather-wise. With that, I'll turn it over, Madam Mayor, to Dr. Jennifer Avegno from the New Orleans Health Department.
Thank you very much, Colin. Dr. Vegno?
Good morning, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day and happy carnival season. I'll just start by giving some very quick stats of where we are currently in the Omicron surge. This is all available on our wonderful dashboard, so you can check as you will. We're averaging about 139 cases of COVID-19 a day in the city with a 6% positivity rate. And I'll say that while those are down significantly from our peaks of a few weeks ago, they're still very high. There is still a lot of virus out there, as most of you probably know personally. And our positivity rate, while low, is a function of the tremendous work of testing going on in our city. But our immediate surrounding neighbors all have positivity rates twice or 3 times that. So in many ways, we are sort of an island. The state reports over 1,300 hospitalizations for COVID-19, and here in Orleans, since the beginning of this surge, we're averaging about 1 death a day. So it is still a very, very real threat. On the good side, our parish is over 2/3 fully vaccinated, so over 67%. That's an little bit over 84% rate for adults, and 43% for kids, and all of those exceed the state and national averages. About 45% of those who have had a full series have received their booster. Now is the time, I'm going to say this several times, now is the time to get boosted if you want to have that full level of protection that we know you're going to need for all of the festivities. In terms of the requirements that are in place to provide the multiple layers of mitigation and protection that public health experts agree we need to host this safely, our vaccine or negative test requirement remains in place for higher risk sectors like restaurants, bars, large indoor events. And of course, the mask mandate also remains in indoor public spaces. Again, boosting is the other part of that. If you're not vaccinated, you need to start your series now. But if you are and you've been waiting to get that booster, now is the time to do it. We have a robust communications campaign letting people know, whether you're a local or a visitor, just sort of reminding you what the requirements are. There's billboards all over the place. There's a PSA. There's social media. RTA is going to be running ads. And I really want to thank our partners, New Orleans and Company, several local businesses, RTA, Lamar Advertising, Uber. You'll see messages when you ride an Uber, and MSY. So there should be no confusion about what you need to stay safe in New Orleans. Other ways we're trying to keep everyone safe is to make sure we have robust testing throughout the event. Our National Guard sites in partnership with LDH will remain open for both testing and vaccines every day except the Monday and Tuesday of Mardi Gras. We are working with federal and state partners to have a rapid testing station available at MSY. Next to the Ochsner vaccine site. So if you're a traveler and you're coming here and you need a negative test or you want to get tested, we're hoping to make that available for you. We'll have tests at our first aid sites, which I'll mention. You can find tests on our NOLA Ready calendar. There are a lot of agencies that are going to keep testing as much as they can throughout, and I think that's going to be great in keeping us protected. We will also be running, once again, our first aid stations along the route. So starting with Friday, during every parade, we, in partnership with LCMC, Medical Reserve Corps, EMS, NOLA Ready, the American Red Cross, and others, are going to be set up at 5 stations on the Uptown route and then 2 the day of Endymion. These are your go-tos. Please use these. Every year, hundreds and hundreds of people do. But this is where you want to go to have that scrape looked at, or to, talk about your headache, or to figure out if you need a higher level of care. Our hospitals are more full than they ever are at Mardi Gras season. This is their busiest time. So what we want to do is help you make smart decisions about the care you need. We'll also be giving out masks, and we will have at-home test kits for you to take home, because we want you to think of that as part of getting ready for whatever you're doing, right? Whether you're going to the parade or a ball or an event, take a test beforehand so you know you don't walk in and infect people. And we're hoping to have a way so you can tell us what you tested anonymously, negative or positive, like we did for Groove Boo, to do some more surveillance. We'll have a list of the tests. In short, they're going to be at St. Charles and Napoleon, St. Charles and Washington, St. Charles and Felicity, at the Circle, and at Canal and St. Charles. And then for Endymion, they will be at Carrollton and Bienville, as well as Broad and Canal. Again, these are your go-tos if you're out on the route. It is incredibly difficult for EMS to get in and out of places. These are places where if you do need a higher level of care, they can get to quickly. As an emergency physician and the health department director, please do not overutilize our emergency departments. As I said, every year they are busier than any other time, and now we have COVID on top of this. So if you're having a true emergency, if you are having a stroke or a heart attack or something serious, of course we want them to be available for you. But if your stomach is a little upset, or maybe you overindulged a little bit too much last night, might not be the right place to go. So utilize urgent cares, utilize primary care, utilize our first aid station. And again, we're going to get through this, and the way we do it is vaxxing up, getting boosted, staying masked, and testing to party. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Avegno. And I'm going to ask now Chief Nelson, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone, again. So as you've heard so far, your city, your public safety team, your fire department want you to celebrate safely this Mardi Gras. And so just some safety tips to keep in mind. Make way for emergency vehicles when you see those lights and sirens, right? The lights and sirens of the emergency vehicles can get mixed in with the lights and sirens, lights and sounds of the party and the parade. So just be aware. And as Director Arnold said earlier, take care of each other, right? So make sure people around you are aware of the lights and sirens and the fire truck or the emergency vehicles trying to move through the crowds. That would be a big help. Another thing, don't block intersections, right? Ladders, coolers, those kind of things should not be in the intersections. They're okay on the neutral ground, 6 feet back, but not in the intersections. That way, if we have to clear that intersection to get an emergency vehicle through very quickly, we can do so. So just keep that in mind. Remember, open flames are prohibited on the parade routes. So no fire pits along the parade routes. Also, barbecue pits. We don't recommend them, but if you are going to use them along the parade route, they have to be at least 6 feet back. Try to keep them back past the sidewalk, away from where people are moving. Again, hot things, crowds of people, not a good mix. So if you do, just try to make sure that they stay back away from the people and from the crowds. Ladders, chairs, ice chests, those things have to be 6 feet back from the curb and from the street. Again, just for safety, you don't want a ladder close to the curb where if it falls, now the people on the ladder are falling into the parade route. So keep those things back away from the crowds just to be safe. Your fire department is going to be out this Mardi Gras, checking the floats, inspecting floats, making sure that they're safe. Something that we haven't seen that you're going to see new this year are the barriers between the tandem floats. It's going to be a bright orange mesh-type material that's going to be stretched between the floats. It's something your public safety team has looked at and approved, hopefully to keep people safe so we don't have tragedies like we've had in past years. We're also going to check to make sure that every float has the proper safety positioning devices, and we urge all of the riders to make sure they're wearing that safety positioning device that helps to keep them from falling over the float if something happens and they can't keep their balance. So things we just want to be aware of to make sure everybody is safe. One last thing I want to touch on, just so the public is aware that you might not know, we started this back around 2019. We used to always have a fire engine at the rear of parades. We've stopped doing that. It's not a staffing issue or anything like that. It's just a safety issue. You know, the fire engine at the end of the parade was nice. It got a chance for our firefighters to be out there and to be seen, but it wasn't good strategically as far as response for public safety. So we're trying to be more strategic, make sure our fire engines are positioned where they can respond on either side of the parade route. where they can get along the route if something happens, and also provide that protection at the rest of the city, around the rest of the city while the parade is going on. So that's all that's about. We just wanted to make you aware because people have questioned about where did the fire engine go at the end. So that's what that's about. So that's it. Just be safe and have a happy Mardi Gras. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Nelson. And we felt that it was more than fitting to just to remind the public about the fire engine that will not be following the parade. We did start that in 2019. It's not new, but again, you know, we didn't have Mardi Gras, so we're just bringing back and refreshing everyone's minds about it. I'm going to ask now for Chief Summeron to come forward. Chief, where are you? There you go. EMS.
All right, good morning. New Orleans EMS will be providing extra medical coverage along parade routes this year in addition to our normal 911 citywide coverage. You will see our folks, as you normally do along the parade routes. We have ambulances stationed throughout the parade route at various major intersections. You will also see our staff on bikes, on carts, and on foot, also responding to calls along the parade route in the French Quarter and really anywhere where there's Mardi Gras activities going on. Due to our ongoing COVID-related staffing and fleet challenges, we have been utilizing a combination of local, state, and federal surge ambulance contracts to supplement our operations and have rented ambulances to bolster our fleet numbers for the carnival season. You will see these rental ambulances out and about citywide and also along the parade routes. These are not typically the ambulances that we normally have, but they are well marked with New Orleans EMS on the side. We also, like I said, we're utilizing those state surge contracts, so we have services in from around the country through that federal ambulance contract to assist us. So you will see ambulances from various places responding to you. If you call for an ambulance and we're not able to send one of our units, you will get an ambulance to you at some point in time from one of our partners. Mardi Gras is our busiest time of year, and we remind everyone that ambulance wait times may be longer if we are busy, and ask that you only call 911 if you have a medical emergency. Just as Dr. Avegno said, if you have any minor illness or injury, the first aid stations along the parade route can take care of that. The RouteWise map, the routewise.nola.gov, has those locations, as Director Arnold said. You can zoom in, you can find it exactly where to go. Also, you can, take yourself to urgent care or somewhere else. Please reserve ambulances for true emergencies. If you're having a heart attack, if you're having a stroke, if you're seriously injured, we will respond to you, but please only call 911 in the case of a true emergency. As Dr. Avegno said in the past, we're very happy that we are continuing to manage first aid stations along the parade route. That definitely is a real big resource for folks that need that assistance. So definitely know where you are, know where your closest first aid station is if you need to go. Also, make sure you sign up for alerts to get any updated information on parade routes or any other emergency information that might happen. Please celebrate responsibly and remember that COVID is still here. So please follow all COVID guidelines to minimize community spread. It's up to all of us to do the right thing and protect each other from another surge. EMS, like healthcare, has been significantly affected by COVID. We see people every single day that are sick from COVID, and we transport them to hospitals, and there's even more sick folks in hospitals. So please follow the guidelines. Wear a mask, get a vaccine, and do the right thing. And we'll get through this together. In closing, I want to especially thank our dedicated staff and other city first responders for their tireless work to keep the city safe, and wish everyone a happy and safe carnival season. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. Very much. Now I'm going to ask Director Morris, Communications District.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. To echo the public safety chiefs, the ones that have stepped up before me, please reserve 911 for life-threatening emergencies. If you have a non-emergency, we still want to hear from you, but there's a way to reach us. Dial 311 and listen to the prompts. If you're calling about an animal-related issue, if you're calling about a parking enforcement issue, all those prompts will be available. 911 is not for that. This past weekend, we saw a large increase of calls, people calling 911 to report music, and that is just not appropriate. So please call 311 for non-emergencies and 911 for life-threatening emergencies. The agency, as effective today, has gone to standby status and will elevate to level 2 status on Friday. That means that our staffing capacity will increase by 50%. We will be bringing additional tactical dispatchers as well to aid the public safety agencies as they move in concert throughout the city on parade routes, and to ensure that all information that's in real time is get to the right place at the right time. The facility has been checked and infrastructure is in place, and our fellow partners are on the ground with us. A special thank you to our partners at AT&T. They have brought some additional resources in the city. You may see them deployed along the parade route, a cell tower that has some cones around it. Please don't climb them. But they are there to provide additional support for the public safety communications network specifically. And with that, happy Mardi Gras. And I'll turn it over to our fearless leader of the New Orleans Police Department, Chief Sean Ferguson.
Thank you so much. Chief Ferguson?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your leadership, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. The New Orleans Police Department is prepared and ready for Mardi Gras 2022. I want to thank our federal, state, and local partners for their assistance to ensuring the safety of our city, as well as our partners within our city agencies as well. This is very important to us as a department, important to us as a city to bring back Mardi Gras 2022 in a safe manner. With that being said, we will be all hands on deck within the New Orleans Police Department. Our district personnel, effective 7 a.m. on this Friday, February 18th, will be transitioning to a 12-hour shift and will continue to be so on this shift until Wednesday, March 2nd, 7 a.m. Our parade personnel will be assigned to the parade starting this Friday, of course, until Tuesday, March 1st, Mardi Gras Day. We will have assistance, again, as I said, from the federal, state, and local partners. I want to thank Sheriff Guzman and all these parish sheriff's office for their partnership with regards to using a mobile booking bus. That is a bus that will be stationed in the French Quarter to allow us, when and if we have to physically arrest anyone, our officers do not necessarily have to leave their assignment. They can book that individual on site, and we can continue to keep that presence within the quarters to ensure the safety of our citizens who are visiting, as well as our visitors who are visiting. Our state troopers, which you will hear from Lieutenant Colonel Chavez Cameron immediately following me, but they will be here with a smaller contingency this first weekend, but an even greater contingency in the second weekend, and a lot more of aerial support and other supports from our federal agencies as well. You will see North Sea employees working with us, and I want to explain something about our French Quarter closure this year. Traditionally, we would normally have an exterior closure, meaning from Rampart to Decatur, from Canal to Esplanade. We have restricted that, or we reduced that to a smaller interior closure now, from Charter Street, from Royal Street to Dauphine, I'm trying to think of it now, and Iberville up until St. Anne Street. And you will see archers, you will see some serious barriers that will not allow vehicular traffic to travel up and down or from river to lake bound or lake bound to river. With that being said, we have communicated with our partners in all of our public safety entities to ensure that they know how this restrictive area will be maintained so that they can properly respond to any emergencies throughout this carnival season. Also, our 8th district personnel will be all hands on deck. They will be limited to only patrolling within the 8th district area. They will not be assigned, as we said before, they will not be assigned to any parade duties. They will be assigned specifically to the 8th district, and where we know majority of our visitors will be throughout this Mardi Gras season. Colin has mentioned a lot with regards to some of the responsibilities that we are asking of you as parade goers. I want to add to that. One, do not travel in between marching bands or marching groups. Our kids are very, very important to us. We want their safety to be at the utmost throughout this season. So please do not walk in between any parade groups throughout this carnival season. And I definitely have to ask everyone to please leave your weapons at home. There's absolutely no reason to bring a weapon to a parade route. We will be strategically placing our officers throughout along the parade route, on the parade route, but also behind the parade route, looking for individuals who wish to commit any criminal behavior. Also, I believe what we've put in place thus far will be strategic, will be very, very impactful, I think, given the circumstances and challenges that we have. I want to also encourage our citizens as well as visitors to take advantage of our ride-sharing resources, Uber, Lyft, taxis, or what have you, when traveling throughout the city. I think that would mean the most to us when we are trying to deal with traffic and things of that nature. And last but not least, we will have LSP, we will have Jefferson Parish, we will have from the Sheriff's Office working with us on traffic escorts as well as movement on floats. And as Chief Nelson already stated, please be mindful of the sirens, be mindful of the lights, and while we are moving these elements throughout the city, and as to not to get them confused with the parades themselves, but please be mindful and be prepared to move out of the way as we are trying to ensure the safety of our city. And that, thank you, and please have a happy, safe, and responsible Mardi Gras. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. All right, Lieutenant Colonel?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Chief Ferguson, and to our Honorable Mayor, Mayor Cantrell. We thank you for your leadership and all the things that you're doing to help keep this city safe. Louisiana State Police will, again, collaborate with the City of New Orleans and the New Orleans Police Department for this 2022 Carnival season. This partnership has extended over 50 years for special events such as Mardi Gras, Essence, the New Year's Eve contingency that we have during the Sugar Bowls, and other high-profile sporting events. Louisiana State Police, we will be committed to dedicating 100 uniformed commissioned officers, as you heard earlier from the chief, that we will have some officers here in and around the city during Mardi Gras. The main focus will be to allow our personnel and our resources, they will be activated in the form of foot patrol, vehicle patrol, and we will also have assets with our motorcycle as well as air support. So that's what you will see. That's what you will see with our Louisiana State Police. In addition to our personnel, we will also have personnel assigned to the Real-Time Crime Center, and they will be working closely with our state police, our State Fusion Center, to support this crime prevention initiative and help keep everyone safe during Mardi Gras. Public safety is of the utmost importance, as the chief said. We really want you to take this seriously and keep the things and the points that have been pointed out already as utmost of importance for safety. If you see something, we ask that you say something. And I'm going to give you some numbers and some apps as well. Colin has already given you some numbers and some apps of resource, but we're also going to encourage you, or we're urging our citizens to report any suspicious activity by utilizing the 911 call thing. You dial 911 if you have any serious life-threatening issues. We want you to use that 911 system. As you heard earlier, 311 is for non-emergency alerts or non-emergency information that you want to report. I also want to give you our Fusion Center hotline number, and that number is 1-800-434-8007. We also have our Louisiana Suspicious Activity online reporting form, and you can reach that or contact us by going on to www.lsp.org. Again, if you see something, you can use the Send Something app. It's the See Something, Send Something app, and you can download that on any Google Play stores or Android apps. You can use that to download that app so that you can have another resource to report any suspicious activities. Again, we're here partnering with New Orleans Police Department and the City of New Orleans, as we always do, and we are working in collaboration with our partners and making sure that all of our federal, state, and local partners are here to keep you safe. That is our goal, and we want everyone to enjoy their Mardi Gras and have a safe Mardi Gras this carnival season. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel. I'm going to ask now if Mr. Hudson, Director of TSA, will come forward.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we've heard a lot of folks talk about the collaboration, the Tier 2 events. How do we get to a Tier 2 event? Well, there is a special events working group that's, housed by all of our federal agencies within DHS. They get together, they look at the type of event, and they assess it between 1 and 5. 1 being the most severe, which we just had with the Super Bowl. New Orleans is considered a Tier 2 event for the Mardi Gras, and with that, we give them an opportunity to collaborate with our federal officers and give them an opportunity to, excuse me, liaison to ensure that we have all of the support that the city needs to make it a successful Mardi Gras. Okay? We don't impede what they normally do. All we're here to do is to say, if you need this, you can't get it, reach to me, and we'll move that up the chain. But if there's an event, then we have a direct line, excuse me, to the administrator, to the DHS secretary, where we get with FEMA and get emergency response quickly. Okay? If y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. But Madam Mayor, thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing me to do this. I'm a little choked up right now because my throat's dry. Yeah, thank you very much. If y'all have any questions, we look forward to, again, happy and safe Mardi Gras. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and I'm going to now ask Captain Watson, you can help yourself to that water. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah. Captain Watson, come on forward.
All right. Good day, everyone. Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership. The Coast Guard is fully engaged with our partners to ensure a safe and secure Mardi Gras. Obviously, our focus is maritime security, so we are plugged in that regard. You will see Coast Guard boats. You will see Coast Guard helicopters. You will see us engaged. You will see Coast Guard personnel on foot in key places along the waterside to ensure that we have a safe and secure Mardi Gras for 2022. We are working to ensure seamless coordination throughout the entire team of our federal, state, city, safety and security personnel. That's what you want, and we're working toward that end. We are prepared, we are ready, and we're looking towards a safe and secure Mardi Gras this year. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Director Chief, anything to add? You good? Okay. All right. Well, thank you all very much. I know it's been a lot of information, but it calls for it as we are geared up and prepared for Mardi Gras 2022. Well, I'll go to Q&A. I think we can do that. We'll move into Q&A. It's a good time.
This might be a question for Colin. Does Mardi Gras typically have this 2 rating, and how is this decided?
So SEER 2, and Colin can definitely follow up on this. Making sure that the city of New Orleans reached a SEER 2 rating was a priority for my administration. Given Mardi Gras in 2020, we did have aerial footage in preparation and making the case, actually, for the city to have this upgrade. As Colin mentioned previously, you would hear it or you'll see SEER 1 for a Super Bowl, but we were able to make the case that Mardi Gras is not just in one centralized location, it is really throughout the city. And so we were able to capture that and make our case to have increased to the SEER 2 that would offer us expanded resources that we so desperately need, given, again, not just Mardi Gras we host, but all of the events that we host as well. So, Colin, you can come up and give them all the details of the great work that went into reaching this SEER 2 grading, and also the resources that follow.
Yes, ma'am. It's a great question. So 2020 was the first year that we were recognized as SEER 2. Prior to 2020, I think it was more of an issue of communicating what exactly Mardi Gras is. It is an international event, but it's also, which is something that the federal government really looks for is international notoriety. But it's also a very regional event and a very local event and very obviously near and dear to us. And I think that there was maybe some confusion in the past about how many people were here, how long it went on for. At one point, it was viewed that Mardi Gras was just Fat Tuesday, which we all know is not the case. I think that after 2020, when we had the initial SEER 2 designation, it was eye-opening for the federal government, and we would have had it last year had there been a Mardi Gras. We have it this year, and I think it's something that we'll continue to communicate and that you'll continue to see. I will say this, Our relationship with the Coast Guard has existed prior to the SEER 2, and all our federal partners has existed prior to this, because we've always worked together, because we've always had big events and real marquee events in the city. A lot of the things you're going to see, the Coast Guard helicopter over the parade route, the Customs and Border Protection helicopter over the French Quarter, stuff we've done before because of relationships that we have as a city with our federal partners. What this does is it gets a little bit more federal coordination, just as far as some of the intangibles that we've had to ask for before. I think directly because of the SEER 2, we had the federal EMS ambulance support, okay, because we asked for it, because it was something, in fact, it was priority number one. Some of the things you're going to see with testing and the availability at the airport with Dr. Avegno's shop, I think is part of the communication with the federal government. So it does open up a lot more resources and just avenues of communication. We'll be looking with the intelligence sharing. Obviously, a key part of that is just overall, any type of terrorist or criminal activity to the event. Also local criminal activity that may occur, but human trafficking, huge resources within the federal government and the state police to be able to assist NOPD at a real-time crime center with looking for that. Also working out of the airport, trying to manage and try and reduce the amount of human trafficking that does occur with events like this. So those are the types of priorities that you're going to see. Thanks, man.
Just real quick to follow on that, didn't you mention also that the FAA is going to be doing some kind of aerial support as a result of SEER 2, and can you describe what that means?
SEER 2, and also you can mention the securing our cities.
Yes. We are engaged with the FAA about what's called a temporary flight restriction, or TFR, over the parade routes. That is still not determined completely. That's a more difficult ask because we do have a rather large airport that has a lot of flights coming in and out. Those TFRs typically restrict flights. They do have exceptions for airport incoming and departing aircraft and things like that, but it's also a long period of time. So I think that what we have with our air support is enough, but we are dealing with the Federal Aviation Administration about potentially maybe during some of the busier periods having some flight restrictions. And particularly, and I'll just say this because we haven't really addressed it, a lot of this is about drones. And both recreational and at sometimes some of the more commercial drones that are used. You're not supposed to fly these drones over parade routes and over crowds of people. It does prevent a hazard to parade spectators. And so we ask that people really limit their use of those around the parade route, around large crowds, particularly in the French Quarter and on the parade route. That's the chief concern is that type of activity. What else was there? You mentioned the, secure the cities. I'm sorry. We do have quite, and again, with our federal partners and a grant that the city pursued called Secure the Cities, we have quite a chemical and radiological detection and monitoring network that will be available during Mardi Gras. We'll be able to monitor for, chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear type emissions that may be out there. From someone that may want to do harm or from something accidental, quite frankly, but really focused on those that WMD or weapons of mass destruction type scenario that is, obviously we hope doesn't occur, but we have to look out for as well.
Flight restriction details are still being worked out?
Yes, they are. They're still being worked out right now.
Would you focus just on drones or commercial aircraft?
You can't focus just on one. Unfortunately, that's kind of the issue is with a temporary flight restriction, it's kind of everybody. And so you can't say no drones, but airplanes are fine, that kind of thing. So we do need to work on that a little bit with the FAA. Yes, we will.
So much has been said about staffing shortages for first responders and everybody during these times. Mayor Cantrell, what is your level of confidence that you're going to be able to ensure a safe Mardi Gras while protecting the neighborhoods of New Orleans as well as we maintain these routes?
Right, so we have not mentioned anything about staffing shortages that will have a direct impact on our ability to respond to the needs of residents and/or visitors given Mardi Gras 2022. So as you've heard from our unified command and, of course, our superintendent of police, we are prepared and we do so every single day. If there's any additional information, Chief, that you would like to share in regards to deployment practices, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, we're prepared.
Thank you, Mayor. I mean, again, the 12-hour shift allows us to shift some resources around. This is not just for patrol, it's also our detective units as well. So having that flexibility, we will be, I think we are adequately staffed and we would not have any challenges. We don't foresee any challenges. So we are, again, ready and prepared. I won't go into any details with regards to additional resources, but there are some additional resources to assist us throughout this Mardi Gras season.
Yeah, you mentioned that there's going to be 100 state troopers. Is this more than past Mardi Gras, or is this pretty standard? Thank you.
Thanks for that question. Yes, we mentioned 100 state troopers in past. We've averaged somewhere between 150 to 160 maybe. But this is definitely a slight decrease from previous years due to our staffing issues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This question is for Chief Ferguson. You talked about securing not just parade routes, but the areas surrounding. Some people I know were frustrated after, I believe it was Crew of Chewbacca's. There were cars broken into. Some people have said, I may not go to some of the parades this year because of issues like that. Is there any way you can talk just about what you all are doing to, I guess, prevent some of those crimes of opportunity while people might be out enjoying Mardi Gras?
Absolutely. So when I spoke to that, strategically placing some of our staffing along the parade route as well as behind the parade route, that is what I was alluding to, some of those areas that we've identified. But also, that is another reason, not just because of someone being inebriated, but I also encourage that taking advantage of that ride-sharing resources or the taxis as well to reduce that vehicular traffic in and around the parades as well, and that would assist us as well. But we are mindful of that. We're very aware of what has occurred already, but we will be actively engaging and patrolling these areas as we identify those throughout the weeks.
And encouraging people always, you see something, you say something. Yes. Yep. Can't do it without the community.
I have one more question just for EMS. I know you said you had to do that federal contract to get more ambulances. Is there a number of how many are being brought in to supplement your all's fleet?
Sure, and we've had federal contracts actually as we move through this pandemic as EMS has been hit, but definitely geared up for Mardi Gras 2022 with an additional 10. Chief?
Yeah, just as the mayor said, you know, throughout the pandemic, the administration has been very, very forward-thinking and making sure that we get the resources that we need. And so throughout the pandemic, we were utilizing the state ambulance contract, the federal ambulance contract, and to go as far as also securing a local contract with Acadian Ambulance at the city that the city will pay for, you know, if we need that. And so for Mardi Gras, for the whole month of February, we have 10 additional federal ambulances that are assigned to us. And then for parade days, we're going to secure an additional 10 ambulances from our local Acadian Ambulance contract. And so that will supplement our citywide operations, which will allow us to have the staffing to respond to everything going on during that time. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Kind of a follow-up to that about the extra ambulances coming in. Will extra personnel from other agencies be coming in to assist EMS as well?
Yes, so the surge ambulance contract includes staff. So when we get an ambulance from those contracts, it includes a crew, and they work with us for a period of time, and they basically fall into our operations just as one of our crews. I did mention earlier that we are renting ambulances, so we are renting 10 trucks that our staff will operate, mainly on the parade side.
Right, so that kind of segues into my press conference from last week when we talked about equipment maintenance division and the like. So we have the personnel, but we needed additional vehicles to utilize. Any other questions?
Mayor, back to staffing issues. You say there's no staffing shortages, but
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I
Okay.
didn't say that there were no staffing shortages.
well,
When you answered your question, you actually said what we said here, and we did not. But what's your question?
Pano says that NOPD is 600 officers below what it should be. What is your number for the right size for this police department?
So this is one question, you throw numbers out all around. But as far as the New Orleans Police Department, in regards to staffing, we're looking at 270 in terms of vacant, as reported last week. So no change.
And what are your plans to try and fill those vacancies, ma'am?
Sure, so as reported last week, relative to retention and recruitment, I would refer you right back to the press conference we gave on last week. Okay. Any other questions?
Can I quickly ask a question for Chief Nelson? There was some video circulating this weekend of someone using a flamethrower off of a balcony in the French Quarter. Are y'all aware of this? Is this something being looked into? And I guess what kind of advice and what is your message to the public?
It's the last place they need to do that, for sure, last place. Chief, come on up.
I am not aware of that. I did not see that video. I'm not sure if our fire prevention division was aware of it or not, but no, we do not advise the use of flamethrowers or anything else. Now, there are some, just on a side note, there are some flame performers, jugglers and people who do things like that, and our fire prevention division actually does work with those artists and get them to show what they're doing and how they do it and make sure it's safe. So, but no, I was not aware of that.
Is it illegal, or are they technically doing anything legally wrong in this scenario?
I think it would be illegal, like we talked about the open burning. I don't think a flamethrower is approved legally anywhere in the city, but it also would be considered open burning, and definitely on a balcony in the French Quarter is just not a good idea and probably illegal, I would think. But we will look into that. Thank you.
Right, and I'm going to have Director Morris come up and give some information.
You mentioned about a video. I just want to take an opportunity to inform the public and your viewers that in the event you have a video or a picture, we now have video to text to 911. We're probably one of the maybe 5 handful of 911 centers in the country that has that ability today. So if you call 911 and you tell the call taker, I have a video or a picture to share of it happening live or in your phone, we will send you a link. It will give us access to your camera, and you can send us in real time. That way we can give whatever you sent us to the fire department, the police officers en route, so they have the information immediately to make the mitigation decisions they need to stop something tragic from a flamethrower in the French Quarter.
Thank you, Director Morris. Okay, so I believe that concludes our press conference for this afternoon, and we will continue to give you updates as needed as we prepare for Mardi Gras and, of course, throughout the carnival season. Thank you all again. Happy Valentine's Day, and it's okay to say it back, too.
Happy Valentine's. Thank you.